Hey everyone, how's it going today? It's John Taylor. Today is Friday, December 12th, 2025. On my news desk and research desk and trading and prop trading desk, please do me a favor, give my video a like and a share, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So, a lot of news going on today, extraordinary. So, just kind of going over my daily routine, do my own research, not an investment advisor, just information and opinion only. So we look at the news, I look at geopolitics and then socioeconomic news, and then I formulate a trading plan for myself. And totally selfish, call it, or self-centered in a sense, but this really helps me dial in my investments and speculations. In about a half hour, I do about 10 minutes worth of research a day, and then I read the news and then formulate. But if you stay with me to the end, I give you free alpha, which is my trading plan. So let's kind of look at the news today. Not a lot on the economic calendar, but NASDAQ futures slip as Broadcom results fail to ease AI Fed. And Fed speak today is on tap. So Federal Reserve lowered interest rate, quarter of basis point. Italy's national strike called by main union disrupts transport and school services. Wall Street is mixed as worries about the AI bubble and Oracle and earnings. EU set to lock up Russia's frozen assets to Hungary and Slovakia. Can't veto the use for the Ukraine. So there's news there. Clorox stock is underperforming the S&P 500. So what does the latest interest rate cut mean for commodities? So the news is also on precious metals complex. Man, unreal. Like, silver bullion is in a short squeeze. We got tariffs, a lot of news. Is JB Hunt Transport Services stock outperforming the Dow? Darden Restaurants, and then stock of the day too is Victoria's Secret. So I guess lingerie sales are up. So that a lot of news. Let's take a look at this. All right, real quick here. Major market overview. S&P futures. Stock market's going to open up in about 20 minutes. S&P mini up flat. NASDAQ off about 86 points. Dow futures up 100 points. S&P VIX is at 18.45. Uptrend. US dollar Dixie is at 98.490. The 10-year at 112-060. Crude oil bearish at 57.45 to the barrel. Gold bullion is up $61 to 4,374. Silver bullion, up, at 64.75. So I own, you see this in here? See this? American Eagles. I own a lot of these things. They're squeezing. Plus, so I've been a buyer of silver bullion. So now, I'm not financial advice, I'm not a commodity trading advisor, but I'm a seller of some silver bullion, and I'm looking at, where do those hyperinflated dollars go? So sugar, coffee, cocoa. So let's look at it, the major stocks, stock market leaders. Nvidia is active, Broadcom is active, Google's doing great, Fiserv is active, Tesla is active stock, Oracle, very active, off about 10-12% this week. Netflix is active with Warner Brothers merger acquisition news. Microsoft, Mr. Softy, active. Intel and Advanced Micro Devices. So Victoria's Secret stock is trading at a new 3-year high. Shares are up more than 50% in the last month. So that's what we have there that's being reported on bar chart. So let's take a look at what's being reported on the other news agencies here on Yahoo Finance. But first, I don't run commercials on my YouTube channel or videos, but I just recently penned an ebook you can read for free. You see the links down below. It's titled Surviving De-Dollarization. The Great Reset Has Arrived Again. Is your wealth trapped in a collapsing system? The US dollar is facing crisis driven by an accelerated close to 40 trillion US debt. The geopolitical weaponization of finance and the strategic exodus by global powers. So check it out. You can read it for free on Amazon Kindle. Again, Surviving De-Dollarization. I'm the author of such. Tell me what you think. You can check out the links below. So with that, all right, that's on Kindle. So let's see here. Dow rises, but the NASDAQ slides as tech falls out of favor. So Wall Street is diversifying out of tech, with Broadcom, the latest AI tech name, to disappoint after earnings. So you got Broadcom and then Oracle. Oracle made a $300 billion bet on OpenAI, and it's paying the price for it too. So it's long-term infrastructure investment. Little euphoria as the S&P 500 hits a record, and it's a good sign. Stay with me to the end. You get free alpha. I go over my trading plan. So that video is running about 5 minutes. So Fed's Goolsbee explains vote against the interest rate cuts. NVIDIA mulls increasing H200 output amid robust China demand. Broadcom slides as AI payoff falls short. Tongue twister there. Lululemon surges after CEO exit. Lulu, L-U-L-U. All right. Musk Mars mission adds risk to red hot SpaceX IPO. And Tesla. So a lot of news there being reported on this. So let's take a look at, what's going on in the news here. Last time strategists were this bullish, European stocks tanked. So, stock market's pumping. We'll go over my trading plan in the end. I just do my own research for myself, and I find my videos really increase my profitability and my speculation. So I do my research for myself and then publish my research, not an investment advisor. Make sure you read the risk disclosure below. AI is powering Trump's economy, but American voters are worried. News on NVIDIA. Universal submits remedy to the EU's objection over downtown deal. Pot stocks like this rise as Trump planned to ease cannabis restriction. So cannabis could be descheduled or something like this, where people can actually have access to cannabis. China's automotive adds Italy to Spain, so there's automotive news. Fed's Paulson says monetary policy still working to cool inflation. Silver heads for weekly gain of about 10% in speculative surge. So again, I'm a seller of silver bullion, pardon me, and I won't sell my entire silver bullion hoard, but I will sell into that. And I got to find a place for it to go, all those hyperinflated dollars. So I talked about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin and Ethereum. So silver gained. U.S. equity funds draw first weekly inflow in 3 weeks ahead of Fed's easing. Again, news on Oracle. So investors are worried about a bubble in AI. And so, this is the news that's being reported here. Stocks that are active, top gainers, Planet Labs, Hecla Mining, top losers, Oracle's off, Robinhood is off. So this is being reported on Yahoo Finance. So let's take a look at the commodities on bar chart. So bar chart's awesome. I've been using them since before they even had a website. They used to just print out charts you could look at, but I don't look at charts, but bar chart's awesome. So silver bullion, all right, on the long-term futures trends on bar chart has a plus 123.73 weighted alpha. So silver, platinum, dry whey, palladium, gold, and high-grade copper are the greatest weighted alpha, and the worst alpha, negative alpha, is orange juice. So right now, Bitcoin is at the bottom of the list with a negative 20.77. So what I'm doing is I'm selling some of my silver bullion holdings. I have coins, thousands of coins that I minted for myself that are trading on eBay. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a commodity trading advisor, just opinion only. So I sell those on eBay, And then what I do is then I'm purchasing Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a commodity that looks oversold. So, we've had a sell-off in Bitcoin, a lot of margin calls. So Bitcoin dipped from 125, 126,000, and then only to have it now, dip to like 70, 80,000 again. So I've done real well in the last couple of days with some speculations in Bitcoin. Probably netted about 5 to 10,000 points in this last week just by buying the dip in Bitcoin. And so that's part of my trading plan, and look at it. So, look at these, stocks. The stock market's going to open in 10 minutes. The S&P 500 is at all-time high. I've been scalping it for a huge profit. Our stocks overbought. Are they going to lower interest rates to zero again? I think we got a new Fed chair coming in. So we'll see. And then the de-dollarization event, and then precious metals. So today, my trading plan, I'll dollar cost average Bitcoin. I'll dollar cost average SPY ETF again. I've scalped some nice profits out of it in the last couple of days. BKCH, the blockchain ETFs, purchase that. Block, BLOK, it owns MicroStrategy. And then ETH, ETHE ETF, dollar cost average it with recurring purchases. On Robinhood, how's Robinhood doing? Their stock has been off because there was so much excitement about the quantum computing stocks and gold mining stocks and tech and AI stock shares. But, Robinhood's trading, I've owned Robinhood stock shares for well over 5 years. In the last month, Robinhood is off about 9%. So that's in the last week, actually. So we've seen a little dippy dip on Robinhood shares. So looking at, the different commodities and where they're trading, it's all about the dollar, the de-dollarization event. So again, check out the link below for my ebook. I provide solutions for people too, rather than just complaining about, the status of the economy and what's happening. So, just kind of look at these trades on Bitcoin, just awesome. So thankful. This last cycle on Bitcoin alone, on the dippy dip, I bought Bitcoin as low as 90,134, and then it pumped to, up to 93,500. In the previous cycle, I bought Bitcoin at 90,000, 91,000. I've been able to sell it and take some nice profits out of it. So Bitcoin, it's not, could go to zero, but anything's possible. But it has the greatest negative weighted alpha. So on the commodities, so Bitcoin, to me, just kind of, I guess, do a rant, give myself, I give myself financial advice. And this is me just working through this logic of the capital markets and see, well, where do I go? And so where do I go with these hyperinflated dollars in the silver bullion market? I'm looking at strategy. Let's see, MSTR. I gave that to you guys a few weeks ago. MicroStrategy was 100% strong sell. So strategy shares early this morning trading at about $185. So in the last month, strategy stock is off about 21%. Got Michael Saylor and Peter Schiff versus the gold bugs. Bitcoin is digital gold, and then gold bullion is, gold bullion. So we've got a battle going on between the two markets, Bitcoin versus, precious metals. So just kind of doing a rant, running about 15 minutes. So today, my trading plan, let's dollar cost average some more Bitcoin, dollar cost average SPY ETF. I DCA it, and then when it's profitable, I sell it and take a profit out of it. I don't sell the entire position on SPY, but it could be, they're going to continue to lower interest rates with the de-dollarization event, and then S&P 500 could it could go up 500, 1,000% as they lower interest rates back down to zero. So you've got to look at QT, the quantitative tightening versus quantitative easing, and then looking at monetary supply of M1 and M2, and then Basel III, and then bank runs, and the de-dollarization event, and how to profit from that, and to be able to survive the process of de-dollarization. I mean, the last time was 1971 when it's called the Nixon shock, where the U.S. dollar was removed from the gold standard. And then before that, it was 1933, 34. So this debt cycle is getting long in the tooth, as they say. So it's time for the next great reset. And now there's the big, beautiful bill and the Stablecoin Act. So it could be that they're going to roll all the national debt here in the U.S. into stable coins and then reset the system. And so we've seen that many times before, the Weimar Republic back in from 1920 to 1923 with the hyperinflation, then recently in Argentina, and then back in 2008-09 Zimbabwe, had millions and millions of percent hyperinflation. So is that chicken coming home to roost here in the U.S.? It sure kind of looks like it. So every time the system rolls up like this and this much debt, they have to reset the system. So it looks like stable coins and the big beautiful bill and the lowering of interest rates is, go big or go home. And we're seeing this playing out on the precious metals market. So that's my trading plan for today. Made some nice trading profits here recently on the Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin. It's doing awesome. And that's really what I have for today. Just kind of staying aware of the news thing. Let's see what's going on CNN. So we bring that up. I look at the left, being sources say FDA intends to put black box warning on this thing here that we can't talk about on the with no liability thing. The FDA's most serious alert. Boy, I didn't take this thing, and now we're seeing news about such. I don't like anything that's mandated. Reeling from DC, National Guard prepares for deployment. A lot of this news is so PC, it's too hot for the tube to even kind of talk about. Indiana in such a major unforced error for Trump. And so a lot of news on CNN. So, wow, floodwaters inundate Western Washington. So you've got floods going on in the country. You got to, be prepared. Trump administration, detaining Garcia again, and then, my goodness, and then Venezuelan oil, U.S.-Venezuela tension, why Trump wants to oust Venezuela Maduro. A lot of oil in Venezuela, and it's the right type of crude oil, too, that the U.S. likes. So usually, wars are fought on or over lands that are rich in natural resources. And, and then also Brian Walsh, a trial going on there with Brian Walsh. And then, okay, so this is CNN. Closing argument set for Brian Walsh. All right, got that. And then now let's look at Fox News real quick. Fox News is reporting. We'll look at the right on the conservative side. Okay, whistleblower warns of massive fraud on Ohio Somali community, Omar or something, and doorbell captures a home explosion with crew working. Oh my goodness. Allegations revealed, Michigan coach fired. So Venezuela, war with Venezuela possibly. Wow. Family coach accuses Oprah of fueling something. So the conservative news, a lot of it too also is too hot for the tube. Can't even talk about it. So that's what's, Charlie Kirk news there. unreal. So just my stock market's going to open in about 2 minutes. I like to look at the stock market right at the open to see how things trade up. Let's look at quantum. Quantum Defiance ETF, looking at quantum computing stocks. They were outrageous last year and this year. Let's see. For the year, the Quantum Defiance Quantum Fund is up 50%. Stock shares like Tower Semiconductors and Coherent and Teradyne, Rigetti Computer, Micron Technologies, Intel, Lam Research, Advanced Micro Devices, and Alphabet A. So these are stock shares have been rocking and rolling on quantum computing. So that's what we have. Kind of look at, so my trading plan, kind of put my research together today. Check out the links below. Please subscribe to my channel. And you can see here there's a link for Patreon. I do receive Patreon donations, and I'm thankful for such. So you can always help support my channel. So S&P is going to open up here any second. Let's see what we got. Ethereum, the blockchain. How's Oracle stock doing this morning? Oracle, let's see, in pre-market. Stock market just opens up right now. Oracle's very actively traded at 197. All right, and then Broadcom stock. And then Warner Brothers, looking at the merger arbitrage for Warner Brothers. Broadcom stock is tanking off about 8% right at the open. So, news on Broadcom, it's a dip, not a downtrend, says Cantor Fitzgerald analyst. So, Broadcom price raised to $430 from $400 a share from Deutsche Bank, but the stock's not reacting like that at all. So, is Broadcom, Broadcom stock shares are up about 10% for the month, but they're off about 2% for the week, 3%. So what happens to Broadcom? Has the AI bubble burst? So who knows? All these big tech companies, Microsoft, have made big infrastructure investments with Broadcom and all the data centers and all that. So, man, it could be just who knows, with the different things that are transpiring here in the economy. All right, the stock market's just opened. All right, S&P 500's off a bit. Bitcoin's dipping a little bit. Ethereum. This is what we have, people. Not much on the news scale, but only thing recently, nice trades again with the Bitcoin. So let's see if we get an oversold condition in Bitcoin and can accumulate such, along with Ethereum, and then the blockchain stock shares, and then precious metal squeeze. So that's what we have. Not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's opinion only. I have to say that. So silver bullion. What's going on with that this morning? A lot of option activity on iShares Silver Trust. Man, up 1.5% today on SLV. Pumping. A lot of news on the silver market, the commodity market, with a short squeeze. So this is what we have for today, people. Have a great day. Thanks for my viewers. And I say this every day. I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. Again, it's John Taylor on his news desk and prop trading desk and research desk. Let the trend be your friend. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.